board district members. Thank you. She's our representative on school board, one of two. Ellen Ferguson is also one of our representatives that covers Delray Beach, and they're always available for any of us to speak to, which is wonderful. And they also give presentations to the city commission from time to time. So we're super lucky to have her today to really kick off what's happening this year and what's going on in the school year. So Erica, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate being here today. It's very nice of you all to invite me to be a part of your meeting. And again, I really appreciate how much you care about Delray Beach schools and just schools in general. Caring about what our children are learning every day and how good our schools are representing the community and really servicing the community is so important. So I'm thrilled to be here. I have a little presentation for you all. I just wanted to say though, before I get started, if you see anything here and you would like me to present it at another group, I'd be happy to. We have a couple of things that we're going to be kind of on the road about coming up. In November, we are having a referendum, which I'll talk a little bit about. That's going to be on the ballot, and I'd be thrilled to discuss that, with anybody out there that may be interested, people that are potentially going to be voting in this upcoming election. I think that would be great. Just so you guys know where I am right now. Oh yeah, stop. I'm in a hotel room in Key West. My 4-year-old is on her device over there watching TV while we do this, and she loves to talk to the people on the TV. So you're hearing her laugh along with them. So please try not to be too distracted, but it's keeping her mostly quiet for me. So she doesn't understand that they can't hear her. So all right, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can you all see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, great. All right, so let's see if I can advance the slides. That would be huge. Okay, so this is the biggest news of the year. We were very excited about this. I don't know if you realized that last year, the state of Florida actually changed the way that we rated schools, by which I mean they made it more stringent. So what used to be an A for a school system became harder. So even though last year we got we actually went up 2 points in our scores as a district, the state of Florida raised the scores 5 points to get an A. And so all last year we were a B school system. And that is something we hate. It's not great for us. It doesn't make us happy. And we have a really big sign out in front of Fulton Holland, which is, the Forest Hill building that says we're an A-rated school system. So we had to take the sign down, and it was tragic and horrible for everyone. So on, I think it was Tuesday, Tuesday, we found out that we were an A-rated system. And by 3 o'clock that same day, we had the sign back up out front. Everyone was really thrilled to be able to do that. It really speaks to how hard everybody worked this year, which means that the entire system of Palm Beach County Schools has so many points that we've gathered in that we are considered an A-rated system. And that is even more impressive because they raised the score again. So every year the state of Florida is trying to make it harder and harder to get an A, but we rose to the challenge this year and made up for our lost ground last year. So we were really, really excited about that. Here are some of the schools in the district just in general to show you the trend over time. How many schools are A and B schools. We had a very successful year this year. Everyone did such a good job. You'll see there was obviously the blip in the pandemic where we went down. That was a real issue. And then you see we went down even further last year. And I promised I wouldn't make any excuses for it, but there are some reasons behind it. And then this year, it seems like we're really making up that ground and coming back up. And we're just so thrilled. So that is how many schools in Palm Beach County Schools are A and B rated in the school system. That's really what we're going for. So 67% of our schools are A and B rated throughout the whole system. Okay, your schools, which I know you care the most about. This is what happened over the last year. So you can see here the the grade performances from 2023 and 2024. So Atlantic Community High School is now a B school, which is huge. Banyan Creek maintains the B. They were off by just a tiny bit to get that A, so hopefully they'll fix that next year. Carver maintained a C. Murakami, which I don't really see as a Delray school, but I know you may have some students that go there. That is always an A school. It's quite good. Orchard View, we're very proud, went up to a B. Pine Grove, to be. It's so exciting. It's unbelievable. It's one of our big successes for the year that we're very, very proud of. You'll see Plamosa is one of two in our entire system that went up 2 letter grades to become an A. You all should be over the moon with that because it's also a middle school option for you. And so that is huge. ST Spady is back to their A, which we knew they could do all this time, and Village Academy maintained their C. So you'll see you have no schools in the system that are D-rated schools, which I know is so huge. And I hope that you all will convey this to the commission who's asked some questions about this in the past, that the schools have really done quite well this year. And we're hoping to just keep going with it. So I think they've got some real growth and potential of where they're going to go from here. The next thing I wanted to talk about is kindergarten readiness. We are actually entering into welcoming the class of 2037, which blows my mind every time we talk about this. Kindergarten readiness is really important. I see it as the way that we have the ability to make the biggest changes within our system is to make sure that every student shows up ready on the first day for kindergarten. We have a lot of VPK programs within our school system, but there are many private providers as well. And so we work with the private providers through the Early Learning Coalition and with our providers to make sure everybody has access to kindergarten preparedness. So one of the ways that we do this is really try to get kids to know about the programs that are out there, but also we have created kindergarten readiness toolkits that we give out in the spring when we get everybody to sign up for kindergarten. So they get to sign up during, it used to be called Kindergarten Roundup, but we've changed the name. It's like Kindergarten Kickoff or something like that now. And so in the spring, we have the students come to their home school, they get them sign up, they can, get excited, meet some of the teachers, kind of see their way around the building. And then they go home with a kit. There's 2 kits, one for math and one for reading. And I have gotten this kit. I think I mentioned to you guys in the past for my daughter, we did it. She was not ready for kindergarten. That's what we found out. But she had a few years to go. She was only 3 when we tried it. So it is good. It really gives them a chance to work on like letters and numbers and, counting skills, working on sounds, which is important, recognition of different letters in the uppercase and lowercase, things like that, which are huge skills. So the reason why I bring this up is last year we did such a good job in passing this out for the beginning of the school year that we saw a 3% gain in kindergarten readiness. Kindergarten readiness is actually a test that we give to the students 2 weeks after starting kindergarten. So last year's test, we went up 3%, which is very, very significant of a score increase. And so that is, all the efforts with the prep, but also getting people ready for kindergarten and getting them referred to programs throughout the county that could support creating like that VPK program. So you can actually do, if you hadn't done a VPK program, you can do one quickly over the summer. They have them that just go for that time too. So it doesn't have to be for the full year before, but to really get kids ready. So that is coming up. I would encourage you as a community to really push everybody into a program, at least by the time they're 4. I think 2 is really good. That's when I know people want to keep their babies home and they want to hold on to them. But a lot of the skills that they need come with that socialization, and it doesn't have to be many hours a day. And VPK, they only pay for 3 right now. I wish it was a full day actually, but I think you can still have a lot of time with your baby or put them in a daycare situation that you're comfortable with while still making sure that they're getting some sort of an education, because this is what really sets them up for success for the rest of their lives. So we want to see that happen. So that's what's going on with that. Oh, and we'll find out the scores probably by January for how we did this year. So they'll take the test, all the kindergarten babies will take the test right after they get to school, and then we'll get those scores back. We'll be able to see if our efforts are improving even more, because that's really what we want to do, make sure. And we can see on a school by school basis who's ready for kindergarten. And I got to tell you, the difference really is in the communities that they're in, you know, the level of poverty that they're struggling with. So we have to overcome that poverty by making sure everybody has access to the same programs. Okay, so this is something we're all really excited about. Pine Grove is a beautiful school now, in addition to its B rating, which is going to bring, I think, a lot of families back to the Pine Grove campus. It has finished being modernized. It is opening up on the first day of the school year. The school was built in 1966, and you guys who have traveled through this building in the last few years know how miserable it was. So we are very, very happy to see it happening again. It's going to be a new building with K-5 classrooms, cafeteria, kitchen, custodial receiving, covered PE shelter. It is bigger than the last one by quite a bit. We will be able to fit 540 students as opposed to 370. So that way we can, as it gets more popular, fit more families in there. They did a renovation of buildings 2, 3, play courts, fields, playgrounds, and bus loop. And they have a few things still left to finish. The new parent drive, the visitor and staff parking will be done by the spring. And then the city finished their improvements of Southwest 10th Street. So I think this is going to be a big bonus to those downtown families that, you know, need a beautiful school to go to as well. So I think we're really excited about Pine Grove. And I got to say that it really draws families in. In my community, there's one A school, and people are always trying to break in now. So they want to go, and actually we have some really great successes in all of our schools. So I think you're going to see more people coming back to our system for that reason. Okay, the next thing that is so great is the Delray Full Service Adult Education Center modification, Old Carver. So we finished our phase 1. That was something that we worked on and finished by April of 24. So you've seen all of those things happen. The new building, the portables, and the gym are gorgeous now, but they do still sit in the sea of buildings that have not been finished. The superintendent and the board decided to put the funds needed into phase 2 to finish everything up there. It's quite a bit of money. I think somewhere around $22 million to be able to finish these projects. So in phase 2, we'll be done in 2026. We will be renovating the older buildings, the cafe, and then some demolition that needs to happen. The programs, I know this has been a huge concern for Delaware. What are we offering? So you can see all of them here: medical assisting, phlebotomy, CNA test prep, home health aid, pre-apprentice, electrical and HVAC, integrated education and training HVAC, apprentice HVAC, apprentice electrical and HVAC, post-secondary adult vocational, very long, adult basic education, English language, GED, and hair braiding. Some of those programs are required for us to have on site, like the GED and English language, adult basic education. Those have to be, as a part of our funding from the state, included into these programs. But you'll see a lot of these other ones here are places where people can really make money or be set up to go on to Palm Beach State and get additional training so they can make even more money. So some of these, you know, they're not the highest paying jobs, but they are leading into those programs at Palm Beach State that we cannot provide on our campuses due to the MOU that we have. So we will lead them into that. But some of these things that people can make some good money. And so these will all be offered at that Delray campus. Many of them are now. I think pretty much all of them are now. And you can see a picture of the new classroom there. Okay, this is the thing I was talking about, the referendum. So this is huge. A quick history on the referendum. This referendum, so we have 2 referendums that are always going. We have a property tax one and a sales tax one. This one I'm talking about today is the sales tax one. The sales tax one, the first time we did it with the county and the cities all mixed together with the school board, and it was a 1 penny sales tax. We got half of that penny. The county and the cities decided not to continue to do that this year. They felt they did not need the funding, and the county commission decided not to go for it again. We, as a separate entity, could to make our own decisions, which is nice. And we would very, very much like to still have that half penny going forward. We're the only one asking for it this time. So I think that makes it easy. It is to renew the funding that we have gotten. A half penny will actually be more money than it was last time, and I'll show you what it goes to in just a second. But here you can see the ballot language that will be on the November election. You can see it all down there to continue funding this half penny. I would be grateful if you all would consider this. It is really important. The sales tax funding goes specifically to, and we will look, here are the things that we will pay for with it. This is where we're currently putting it. Our first half penny is the reason we have schools like Pine Grove being done. It's the reason why the Delray Adult Center got fixed. That is exactly where these funds go to, is to building new buildings, fixing old buildings. And then even in schools where you may not see it, we're fixing floors, we're fixing roofs, we're fixing HVAC systems that have been very old and just ignored for a long time. There was a time right after the recession in 2008, where all funding from the state was directed away from maintenance and buildings and put directly into operations. And when that happened, we just stopped fixing things for a very long time. So now we're in that place where we are financially stable enough as a community to be able to fix everything. And it's really helping. Plus, we're growing as a community. And so we have to build new schools and we have to fix the ones that we have so people can come in there. So that's a big, big part of it. So let me go over some of the things you see. A full half of the money, or a big chunk of the money, is for planned maintenance. That's just keeping up with what we're trying to do. That is really just your everyday dealing with maintenance. I wish I had a budget for planned maintenance at my house like this, so that everything could keep going. But instead we just, polish it and move on. But you'll see security projects are up there. That's huge. We don't mess around with security anymore. As you can see, it's always on the top of the mind for everybody. We have the planned maintenance based on rules that we have, to fix all fire life safety issues that are out there, generators, building envelope, as things start to leak and fall apart, plumbing, roofs, HVAC, interior improvement, facility renewals, parking lots, lighting, intercom sound systems. All of these things are really important. Some of the things that we've really wanted to do that I think you all will appreciate as community members are things like digital marquees. So you can go to front of a school and you can see, like Carver's a really good example. It's just an old sign. It's actually behind a fence. It doesn't make any sense. You can't see it from the road well. It's very difficult to change the signs. Some of them, actually one of my other schools, in order to change the sign, they have to go lay on the ground and open the little plastic that goes over it and then sneak up inside of it because there's a fence in front of it. So the opening only comes open like this much and they squeeze themselves up to change it. You can imagine that doesn't happen very often. So you're having a digital marquee means that inside we can type in daily reminders, different things for the parents to see. And you'll see it at places like Joaquin Garcia. They have a brand new, beautiful digital marquee, and it makes really a difference. So we would like to do that at all of our schools. Everyone should get one. We're going to start with the high schools first and work our way down so that we can be informing our community about differences. Also, just to make it look more welcoming and modern, to have a good sign out front, I think is a big deal. Play fields, exterior repairs, improvements, bleachers. A lot of this is really, we need to redo our football fields on many levels and then all fields. But some schools have gorgeous football fields. We have 3, 4 that are good, but we have 30 high schools. So to do it for all of them, we have to really make it so that it's equitable, and it really changes whether or not people want to come to that school if they see that we're taking care of our fields. And like I have another elementary school that is just, it's got holes everywhere, and every year I beg for them to fill it with dirt, and they go and they roll it out and it lasts for a little while. But it's a really used field and it's not very nice. So this is things that we're going to be fixing finally. Playgrounds, playground shade structures, they have to be maintained, they have to be replaced. Shade structures, especially in Florida, is huge. Furniture, fixtures, equipment, media center upgrades. Every media center shouldn't look like a library anymore. As you all know, we want to have electronic, technology. We want to have things so that people can really be a part of this world. Have books as well, but just, replacing those things with modern modern workspaces that really fit with the world today. We've done it to some of our media centers, but not all. So we need to be working on that. We have a list based on age, and currently we're working on media centers that were built in the 60s and 70s to try to upgrade them. It's a painful step. So we got to get those done. Musical instruments, it's been a big passion of mine. My daughter's in the band, and we have had some conversations about when you start on a musical instrument, you don't want to have to be forced to invest $1,000 in an instrument you may not like. So if we provide them, we can get kids learning on them. They figure out which one they like, and then over time, if they need to get their own, they can. But to have decent equipment for them to start on is important. We've put quite a bit of money into this already, but we still need a lot more to really just upgrade all of our band equipment. And I personally would like a band in every school. I think elementary, middle school, and high school, you can have small bands, going all the way up to marching bands. And they are essential for brain growth when you talk about music, being a part of the things that help students when they learn to read music. It's like another language. The camaraderie, there's so many great things about that. And then finally, I'll mention the technology infrastructure projects. That's something that we've been doing for a long time. Everybody in our school system, ever since COVID, gets a computer. So we are still providing that. It's going well, but we got to keep going. It's never ending. They always need new computers. So to be able to do things like that, upgrade the systems of the school so everyone can get on, that's really important. And then making sure that we have the ability for people to connect no matter where they are in the building, because sometimes the wireless doesn't reach to certain areas. So fixing all of that has been a huge priority so that these computers that we give out work. So we've got it, but it really always needs to be continuing going on. Our school buses, we have to replace those periodically. We run them until they can't run anymore. We have our maintenance guys doing everything they can, but it's definitely a cost. And then a portion of the funds must go to charter schools as per the law from the state of Florida. So we've allocated funds there. This is a beautiful picture for you all of Delray Beach Adult Education Center on the first day of signups. I wanted you all to see this because I think it's really cool to see how many people wanted to sign up for classes and the line that went out the building. So we were pretty excited about that, and I know you all would be too. It's really goes to show the need of this building, of this facility, and what the families and people in the community are interested in. It looks like we got something that they want because there's a line, so that's always nice. Okay, and then I'll just talk really quickly about some of the things that I'm really passionate about, because I want to share this with you as well. I've actually been on the board now 10 years, and I've spent my entire time pretty much focused on hunger and homelessness within our community. And we've had some really great successes lately that I wanted to share. So the first thing is we have had great success with our weekend backpack feeding programs. This is really to help students who go home and don't have a good meal available for them on the weekends. We get a bag, usually it's like a plastic bag filled with food that they can put into their backpacks on Friday as they walk out the door. And the goal is, for most of the programs, is the family pack, so that they have food for their parents and their siblings as well in there. And it's, mostly shelf stable items that we're able to get out to them. And we send home with them on the weekend, and then they come in on Monday morning and they've had some meals to eat over the weekend. So they're not just really, really hungry and unable to focus in the classroom. So we have currently 70 weekend backpack programs in schools around the county, mostly elementary schools. And we recently got I serve on the United Way's Hunger Task Force. I've been the childhood chair for, I think, 7 years now. For some reason, nobody wants to take over. I can't seem to unload it, but I've been the chair for a long time, and I love it. And I think it's really made some huge movement. We just went to the Children's Services Council working with Lisa Williams Taylor, and the board of the Children's Services Council has allocated $500,000 to be renewed every year to continue to fund backpack programs throughout the schools, so that we can make sure that our neediest children have food to go home with. So that's been a huge, huge success. I know Delray has already done a lot of this work in the past, and so I'm very proud of all of the efforts that have made to have this happen. So my goal is we have about, I think, 113 elementary schools. I think at least all our elementary schools need to have backpack programs in them, so we're getting close. And 180, almost 3. We're about to open our 183rd school, and so we need to get that all of those schools in there to have some sort of a program, be it a food pantry or a backpack program. And it just takes community support to make that happen. So this is one of the ways that we've been doing it. Secondly, I have been working on a dashboard, which I'm thrilled about. It's not quite ready, otherwise I'd show it to you today, but I'm just going to mention it. So I'm going to the Homeless Advisory Board in 2 weeks, and I'll be presenting the draft to them. And then I'm hoping it'll be out there soon. But the goal is, as I'm trying to convince people to help in the community with hunger and homelessness support, that we could make the data that everybody asks me for all the time just publicly available. So it was a lot of back and forth on this, if it was a good idea or not for us to put all of our kind of information out there that may not be as beautiful as we're hoping, but I am hopeful that it's really going to just draw in support to the neediest children in our system. So we will have a dashboard in hopefully a month or two that you can go to, and you can say, I want to know by school how many homeless children you have currently, and I want to know what their scores are. How are they doing academically? So you can see their English language scores, their math scores, their science scores, and pull it up by that. By school, you can say, can I look at homeless versus not homeless? If you want to look by region, you can do that. If you want to look by municipality, you can do that. And if they currently have a feeding program or not. And I want that because I want people to see where the need for feeding programs is so that they can support. And then just so you know, these are the numbers that came out last year. This is countywide numbers. As you know, we start with 0 on the first day of school, and then we count till the end of the year, however many kids are experiencing homelessness. Every year, this number goes up, partially because the community is tough and hard to live in, and also partially because we try really, really hard every year to find as many kids as we can so we can give them services. So our grand total for the year was 5,467 students that were experiencing some level of homelessness. The number that I think should scare everybody really is the car number. 230 kids living in a car or outside all last year, and they probably still are. So these are children, like actual children living outside. So in Palm Beach County. So those are my numbers. And that is all I have for today. And I am open for questions on this or anything else.
Thank you, Erica. I learned so much. Every time I hear you speak, I learn a lot, and a lot of positive news for schools in our area. I love hearing it. So I'm going to open it up for questions. And it always is like this on Zoom. No one wants to ask a question, but you do. I know you do. Or I'm going to start calling on people. Do I sound like a teacher? My mother was a teacher. Okay. Well,
Hi, this is Vivian. I'm in the car, so I cannot put on my video. I'm so sorry, but I have been listening the whole time, and I'm excited to see our Delray.
oh, you just muted yourself, Vivian.
I'm
There you go.
excited about the kindergarten readiness program and what that's been doing for our youth. I think that that's such positive news for us. I'm wondering about like if you all have started considering the legislative agenda for this year, and if it will include full day VPK this year, and what else you're thinking is going to be included in the agenda.
So I think definitely full day VPK is going to be in our agenda. We know that. I push for it every year. It's my favorite topic because I think it's the lowest hanging fruit we have. And I know it's expensive, but the impact that it would have on the schools throughout the state, it would be incredible. It would be incredible. We would see an instant jump of students being ready for kindergarten, and then scores going up among our entire system. So that, I think it's, when we talk about it, it's really a solid investment in the state and the future of the state, the future of, employees in the state, really trying to make sure that everybody's ready to become an employee and work here and contribute back to their community. So I love it. I'm going to push for it. I'll be there. Don't worry about that. I think the second thing that is going to be really big is school start times. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this drama. It is a big drama. So basically what happened is, and it's hard because like I actually I really support the idea because I'm a health person and I think, you know, sleep is so vitally important. But what happened is they said that they wanted to mandate it that by 2026, so next year, we have to start schools so that high school students start after 8:30, which would be lovely in a bubble. But unfortunately, we don't live in a bubble. Some school systems do, though. We have some schools where the kids are all walking or being driven, or they have a few buses and it's like not a big deal. And you've got some counties in the state where they've got 5 schools, and this is not a hard thing for them to do. But with our system, 183 schools, hundreds and hundreds of buses. We have all our buses running 3 routes in the morning and 3 routes in the afternoon, at least. Sometimes they have to pick up another one. And so they're running elementary first, then they go high school, then no, sorry, my apologies. They go high school first, then elementary, then middle school. Right now, but in order to switch this so that we are following the mandates, we're looking at starting middle schools at like 10:30 in the morning, high schools probably 8:30, 9 o'clock or later for elementary, or we could even go super early with the elementary and have them go first. So now they're at 7:30, which then could have kids on the street in the dark, even darker than it is now. And really, there's so much concern about the little kids there. So what we've asked for from the state, and we will be asking from the state, is to allow flexibility for high performing districts. So basically, like, as a district who's doing really well and has it all figured out right now, please don't make us do something that is going to impact our system. So that is going to be big on the agenda. And from the rumblings I hear, and if any of you hear anything, I think there is some movement on this. I think people are seeing this as a real, like, kind of the unintended consequences of a really good idea of letting kids sleep in is really our ability to do it. And I gotta say, like, I think we could maybe pull off the bus situation and we could get more buses, but we do not have enough drivers. Because I mean, obviously the ideal situation is the guy wakes up in the morning, he takes 1 load of kids to school, and then that's it. Because then they could all go to school at the same time and everybody could show up at 8:30. It'd be like just lovely. But that is not our reality with 200,000 plus kids in this system. So 250 really, when you think about our charters. So it's just too much. We move large metropolitan areas every day around this community to their schools. So it's huge. So that'll be a really big one, I think.
Thank you. Vivian, thank you so much you were on my list. I was going to call on you to talk about VPK because we see it, the chamber sees it and would advocate for it from a workforce standpoint, because we feel like if the parents are able to have care for their children for a full day, they can get back in the workforce. And as you know, a lot of businesses are really struggling to find qualified workers, and we feel like it would help that way. I'm going to call on Christina in a second, but first I wanted to read Willie from Solid Waste Authority had a question. With the voucher program, he says, has the school district seen a decrease in the student population? And if so, is there anything that can be done to reverse that?
So we're actually doing really well. We had an increase in our school population last year. Very, very, very proud of it. I think you really can attribute it to Palm Beach County has great schools. People want to go to our schools. That is a really beautiful thing. It's not like there's a lack of options. Also, we can attribute it to that the private schools are all full. And so if you try to get into a private school, there's no space there. Also, I'd say with the voucher, the way that it could be impacted is if you see a lot more private schools opening up for like $8,000 to $10,000 a year. Right now, our private schools are $35,000 a year, $40,000 a year. I think some of them are like 28. I mean, they're really high. So with the voucher, you get $8,000 off. And so that's lovely, really, for a family who's was already paying $35,000 a year to get that little bonus for them. But likely they didn't really need it. There's a few families that could, use that, but if they were scholarshiped anyway, it was, they probably weren't paying for it. So it has a very small impact, I think, on the community at large. Maybe people see it as like more of a reason to stay within the private school systems. But for us in public school, we have seen more people come into our system, which is wonderful. Other communities have not. You see that really big impact in Broward. They went down, and some other communities have really had a loss that's somewhat attributable to that and to other factors as well. But right now we're doing pretty good. I think we're doing really, really good here. And I just fingers crossed we keep going like we are. I really do think it is a big, it's a big opportunity for us to be competitive, and we have to see it that way. We have put some additional funding into marketing, which we've never done before. We've hired a really great communications guy, and he is going to be doing more on marketing, because I think as they're marketing their services, we have to market ours. And so as we do that, hopefully we will continue to be the choice that everybody makes.
That's excellent. That's good news, because we were worried about that when it happened last year. So I'm glad to hear that. So Christina, you had a question?
I did, piggybacking on your remark about employers having trouble finding employees because it's way too expensive to live here. Erica, tell us how we are paying our teachers. Has the pay scale been raised to try to bring better teachers and more teachers into our school district, since we are so desirable? And if not, how can we get that done?
So yes, we have been doing amazing in Palm Beach County. And by amazing, I mean better than everybody else in this state, not as good as we should. So we have raised, for teacher pay, we did a 7% raise last year with a 3% bonus. So that way we could get it close to that 10% raise. You know, we're super proud of it, but there's limitations. We only get the same amount of money from the state. So we push as hard as we can. And we go as high as we can, but it's still not enough to live here. Palm Beach County is like incredibly expensive. And when you talk about like rental rates, it's hard. So we have teachers that we try to invite to be a part of our system and offer them jobs. And then they come down here and realize they can't live in a decent place for the amount of money that they are making. So what you see is people having to get roommates, which is okay. But they have to realize that, you know, they may need a roommate. Many people are living with family members or living in places that they're not as thrilled about and excited to be in. So affordable housing, workforce housing, things like that would go a long way to helping us, or just more money from the state towards education. When they put the voucher program in, they put in $400 million a year into a program that takes money away from potentially coming into the school system. Like, to me, that didn't make any sense at all, just from a, you know, a public health person or public schools person, where I really feel strongly about our schools. They did add money to what we can pay teachers. And so we have been able to get that funding from the state, but we get about $8,000 a student. That's just what we get. And so it goes based on the number of kids we have, how much money comes into our system, and then we try to deal with it the best that we can. Some states in the country are, if you look on the chart, we're like 46th in how much money we get per student. We have people that are getting onwards of $20,000 per student. And those states are paying their teachers a better wage. Now, is it more expensive to live in some of those places? Yes. But it's also getting really expensive here. I don't think I have a conversation with anybody who doesn't talk about how crazy it is to live in Palm Beach County right now. So as we're growing as a community, as people want to move here, as we have to fill these positions to service people who do live here, you know, we really need to have competitive wages. So I'm proud of what we've done within the system that we're in. And I'm glad that we did better than everybody else in the state of Florida, because I always want to be the best. But there's still quite a bit to go. And good news, though, we do have our own local referendum, the one that's the property tax one. And that does give additional funds that really bring up the pay for our teachers. Without that, I think you'd see like an unbelievable amount of people leaving the system.
Thank you. Oh, Kay, I was going to call on you anyway, but go ahead.
Hi, Erica. Great presentation. I wanted to ask, because I know in Broward, there has been quite a bit of discussion about undercapacity schools and closing schools. And we do have some undercapacity schools in Palm Beach County and a couple in Delray. Has there been any discussion in Palm Beach County about that?
Well, this was actually the big Pine Grove discussion, right? So it was like, what do we do with Pine Grove? Do we shut it down or do we rebuild it? And obviously you can see we rebuilt it. So our goal is to really increase the number of people in that school by making it beautiful and hopefully drawing people back into that space. I would say that there is a possibility of adjusting the purposes of some of the schools. Like in Riviera Beach, we've been looking at a couple there that are really not doing great. And the idea is, okay, we're not going to close the school, but we may not serve that age group of kids anymore. We may switch the way that we serve children there. And so that's a possibility, I think, but nobody wants to close schools right now. There's a lot of emotions tied into schools, as you can see by Old Carver, you know, which hasn't been a school in the real sense in what, 30, 40 years. Or more than that maybe, but people really are attached to it. And so having those buildings remain to be important parts of our community, I think is where we are right now, focusing on that, you know, getting input from our community. We did a lot with Old Carver to talk about, you know, what does the community want it to look like? What does the community, you know, want to see in those buildings? So it may not be a high school like it was 50 years ago, but it's been repurposed to something that is hopefully going to help that community. And so the building remains open and remains a school. So I don't think we're closing any right now, though, just maybe possibly changing the way that they look.
So that leads me to my second question about the old school property next to Plumosa, because I know there's been a lot of discussion of that. Is that going to be sold by the district? What the status of that is? Is there any further discussions on that? The old Galaxy property.
Yeah, I heard,
which just happens to be at the end of my street, which is why, you know.
You're like, hey, I want to know, is we gonna fix this or not? So I know Mike doesn't want to sell any properties from what we've talked about, but there have been more people asking about that property specifically. So I know he's thinking about it again. It has, you know, every time we've gotten into a discussion, he always ends up getting on the side of no. I try to let him to make this decision, you know, based on the information that he has. You know, sometimes I would see them as beneficial to get rid of. I think the biggest issue is the community keeps growing, and we can't get big chunks of land like that ever again. And so I think he's afraid to get rid of it in case we need it for something in like 10 years. But, you know, I would say I still don't know the answer, just like you. We're waiting and seeing what he comes up with. So I know he's thinking about it again. I'll say that much.
Okay, thank you. Oh, and Stephanie, do you want you're going to want me to give my plug now or call for the partners? Wait for the partners.
You go, because we're talking about education. Today is all about education, and we've got a lot of announcements. So why don't you talk about education breakfast while you're on?
Okay, so as you know, Delray has a very exciting annual education breakfast. This year, it's back again at the same location at Aloft on Thursday, August the 29th. We are pleased to have as our keynote speaker this year, Rachel Ludwig, who is with the Florida Chamber, who is their education VP for early engagement to workforce readiness. She's going to be our keynote speaker. We have Stephanie Sutzkind back from News Channel 5 as our moderator. We are working on updates at the school, and it's always a very popular breakfast because we will be distributing the funds from the bus shelter project, the funds that the Delray Chamber Education Fund, which is the sister nonprofit for the Chamber, has raised throughout the year to the schools. We have a back to school drive going on in conjunction with it that has boxes available to donate pencils, line paper, and colored pencils. There's a box at the chamber, at the Delray Library, and at City Hall. And you can bring those school supplies also to the breakfast. And how do you get those tickets? You ask, you go to delrayeducation.org. Tickets are still $40 per person, and we still have sponsorship available. Anyone who is a sponsor of the breakfast, all sponsorship dollars go back directly to the school. So it's a little bit of an incentive. We still have some sponsorships available. So, or reach out to me, and we look forward to seeing you all there. It starts
Thank
at
you, Kat.
7:30 in the morning. Okay.
Oh, the doors open at 7:30 and it starts at 8. Is that how it works?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I knew you covered everything. I knew you would. Thank you. And before we open it up to our partners, are there any more questions?
Yeah, I was going to ask, this is David Beal. Great presentation. Thank you. Specifically, are there any plans for the Village Academy?
Nothing that's not going on currently that I'm aware of. There may be some things going on that I haven't heard about yet, but I think we're just going forward. Is there anything specific you're worried about?
No, just one of those under-enrolled, underachieving
No.
facility.
Yeah, so we're spending a lot of time really getting into those schools and really trying to get their grades up. It's not awesome that it remains a C. We're not thrilled, obviously. We want them to be at least B schools across the board. And we're putting in additional resources into schools that struggle. So our current deputy superintendent has been doing a really good job of breaking that down and like finding out where the resources are going within our system and making sure that they're going to schools that really need them. So they're going to see more resources going in. Also, we have moved all of our staff that work in our main building. They go into schools to provide additional supports throughout the school year. Every week they're there 3 days a week into a different school of need, or into the same schools every week. So they're out there. We've got our math specialists and our reading specialists going into the schools and really providing that extra support. So that's been, that was, I think, one of the things that really changed the way that things worked last year, was just adding in so many more resources to the schools that need it. So you see those grades just coming up really across the whole system. And so he's planning on doing that again, much to the chagrin of the people who have to be moved out of their buildings and go back into classrooms, but they are the experts in their field. So we're very happy that they are going in and they're doing a really good job. So we'll continue to do that and hopefully continue to make some progress, and we'll see where Village goes this year.
Thank you. Before we turn it over to David for the partner reports, I didn't know if Janai Bowen, she handles educational workforce on behalf of the city. She's here. Did you want to say something? Good. Thanks.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for that excellent presentation, Erica. Erica and I are always in communication. So a lot of this information I'm privy to, and I just want to extend a really, really, really large congratulations to our schools. I know how hard they've worked because I keep in contact with the school leaders and I know exactly what they're doing, including constant communication with our South Area Superintendent, Rachel Capitano, who puts in a tremendous amount of work to support our school leaders. So to see everything come to fruition that we've been talking about since last year is extremely, not just, it's heartwarming for me. Like, aside from even just seeing the school grade improvement, but doing a deep dive and aggregating the data and looking at our learning gains and the things that these kids have been able to achieve under such circumstances is just completely amazing. And it's a testament to the hard work that our school leaders and our support staff and our district leaders actually put in. So I just want to do a brief update. On August 19th, we have a scheduled workshop meeting, and it's a collaborative meeting with Rachel Capitano, which is the South Area Superintendent, and myself. We're going to review the improved school data so that the commission is aware of the changes. So as soon as the school grades were out, I sent a push to our city commission so they are aware of the improvements. But just, I want to further the conversation for how did we get here? Because I think that it's very important for everyone, the community, to understand how school grades are calculated. It's 12 different components. And so a lot goes into it, including student acceleration. So we have kids that are taking high school and dual enrollment programs that contribute to our school grades. We have our student proficiency scores. We have our learning gains. We have students who may not necessarily meet grade level proficiency, but they've moved from a level 1 to a level 2. So I think really creating a conversation about how our schools improve will give us just a clear and concise language that we can move forward through when talking about education. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to continuing that kind of coordinated planning to strengthen our level of performance. There were talks, I heard questions regarding Village and Carver. Those are our two primary focuses in terms of our Delray Beach schools. So Rachel and I were going to develop a plan where we continue to talk about these schools and, kind of give them a little bit of extra love, not saying that the other schools are on the back burner, but we feel that they're in a good place. But now we want to see what we can do from a city level as well as a district level to continue to support Village and Carver. We also talked about aligning curriculum efforts with our after-school partners. So Achievement Center, they're currently at Village and they're also at Pine Grove. So I've been having continuous meetings with the leadership staff at Achievement Center, and we believe that we will see continued improvement if we align what they do in the after-school program to what they are doing in the school. So that includes standards-based curriculum. Right now, they have their own curriculum that they pretty much go through. They have the tutoring and they have the homework support, but they are looking to expanding their grant to include teachers, qualified teachers that can teach standards-based curriculum that will continue to fortify and strengthen our students' proficiency. So that is still in the works and that conversation is ongoing. Also, in terms of Delray full service, one of my major initiatives is a Palm Beach State College Articulation Initiative. So we know that they're partners on paper, and they really are partners. They do work together, but there's kind of a red tape. So the district has their own trade and computer technology program, right? And so there's an MOU that states that what the district offers, Palm Beach State cannot offer. But we think that there's some synergy there in terms of partnership. So out of the community conversations that I've been having with some of the commissioners, the mayor, and a few of our community leaders is access and equity, right? So I'm an equity leader. I believe that accessibility is one of our strongest points when bringing education to the community. So we're trying to see how we can get Palm Beach State within Delray full service to offer matriculation courses. So right now we've already seen that they offer like home health aid, phlebotomy, HVAC, electrical, some things that, people may say are low wage, but we don't see it as low wage. We see it as upskilling. So they start off with these, really, when you think about it, these opportunities that can create great economic mobility, but we want to increase that. So Palm Beach State is looking at including some courses that matriculate out of what we already have. So if we have home health aid, they're looking at including more health management and health informatics programming. They're also looking at including artificial intelligence and cybersecurity to strengthen the info tech piece. So again, continue conversation. Everything requires funding. Everything requires money. So when we talk about these things, we also have to keep in mind that, we do have to search for funding. We have to search for grants that will allow us to fortify this workforce and career pathway within that design. So again, that's one of our major strong pushes. We meet together. I met with Fred Barch. I met with Joseph Cortez, who's the site administrator. He's going to take some of these ideas to JPAC, which is the oversight committee, and we're going to see what we can do. So that is pretty much it. I'm continuing to work. Any questions that you all have regarding education in Delray, I am here. Please reach out accordingly. And thank you again, Erica.
He is doing a lot. We're in touch a lot of the time, and she's
Yes,
very busy, but always very available. So thank you, Janai.
You're welcome.
So over to you, David. We'll do some quick partner reports. Everyone was very excited to hear what Erica had to say, and I'm excited about education and the start of the school year and how the community can help our schools. And we'll be talking a lot more about that throughout the year in partnership with the city. So over to you, David.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie. Let's go quickly to Felicia Goldstein from Office of Representative Frankel, since she has her video out already. So
thanks so much, Erica. As always, it's wonderful to hear all the good stuff that you're doing. Just a couple of quick things. For those people who don't know, vote by mail is here, it's ready, and you need to re-register. Florida legislator took everyone off the roll, so we need to have everyone re-register for the upcoming primary and the November election. We had the deputy administrator to SBA here last Friday with the Congresswoman, Saeed. They had some great conversations. We're going to be following up, and we'll let you know, of course, with some Zooms with SBA. They have a lot of new grants and tools, including for childcare businesses, which helps get especially our women back out into the workforce. So we're going to be working with them and maybe even doing an in-person type of event where people could come in and sit and talk to some of them. And as always, we are always thankful to Jacqueline Ramirez, who works out of the Delray there and has been phenomenal for our office, very helpful. Palm Beach State College, just really quick, there are community funding projects, and the Congresswoman has gotten several for Palm Beach State. Another one, which we'll be highlighting shortly, is over 1.4 million for an excellent program that certifies people in the car industry to work on electric cars. And those are good paying jobs, and they are the jobs of the future, and they are going to be able to get certified at Palm Beach State College. So we continue to work with them on putting programs in there that can create jobs and or create a workforce for job opportunities that are there, but not enough of a workforce. So we're excited about that. And I just will say that we are hurricane ready, our office. We stand ready if, God forbid, there's a hurricane. We have generators in our little miniature generators to keep us online, to keep our phones ready to help and answer anything that you may need. Hopefully we won't need to do that, but it is supposed to be an active season. And we are also very excited about the upcoming back to school. So anyone needs anything, passports, visas, you're traveling, your global entry expired, anything like that, Medicare, Social Security issues, veterans issues for benefits. Our office is always open Monday through Friday. We stand ready to assist. And I thank you as the chamber for everything you do. We so appreciate having you to work with. Thanks.
okay, thank you. Amy Kemp, did you leave or are you still there? Okay, let's go then to Michael Corbett, Career Source. Talking a lot of education going on, so maybe you can add to that.
He had to go too. I just heard
Oh.
from him, but we're having, in conjunction with the city, obviously, we're having a healthcare job fair on Thursday, August 8th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's at the Field House. So we're focusing on healthcare. We've got all of the local hospitals that are representative. There are a couple of hundred people signed up to attend already. And working with the school district, we're going to follow that up in October with a visit to Bethesda so the students can learn about different careers that they have in the healthcare field that they can start. So it's part of our continuing workforce initiatives. And of course, we partner with Career Source on that.
Okay, thank you. So we can go to Fire Department and Kevin Green, and then we'll go to Christina Tibbs from the CRA.
So, good morning, Kevin Green, interim fire chief. Just a few things to update you on. One is the process to fill the position of fire chief is underway. Interviews took place last week, and I believe that the process will include a list of 3 to 4 candidates that would move forward to the city manager to finalize a selection process. So hopefully within the next month or so, we'll have a permanent fire chief. The storm that's headed our way, Invest 97, is not scheduled to impact us greatly. It is scheduled to go or is predicted to go south of us and then enter the Gulf of Mexico, where it potentially could strengthen. We are expected to get rain throughout the weekend, but as far as heavy winds and direct impact from the storm, it looks like we're going to be spared that. So other than that, we continue to provide the services to the community. It has been busy lately. And we also are in the preparation phase for our budget impact for next year. As most of you know, the city commission has set the millage rate at a rollback rate, which will have an impact on our budget. So we're just working through that process so that we can continue to deliver the services to the community. So, any questions?
Well, speaking of the storm, Amy Kemp just put in the chat the link to FPL's storm section on their website that might be helpful for preparedness for storm plans. So thank you for mentioning that, Chief Green.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the chief? Let's go to Christine Tiz from the CRA. Thank you, Christine.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Just a few things from the CRA. So our co-working space at 98 Northwest 5th Avenue, the second floor, is now open 1 day a week. We are open all day on Tuesdays, and anybody who normally works from home or remotely and wants to, have a change of scenery, we invite everyone to make a reservation on our website to work out of our beautiful brand new co-working space. We also have a couple of tenant opportunities available on Northwest 5th Avenue. So there are a couple of vacant units on the first floor of 98 Northwest 5th Avenue, and Harbella House, the teal cottage on Northwest 5th Avenue. At 186 Northwest 5th Avenue is available. Applications to potentially rent out those spaces is open until August 12th. We also have Green Market applications available until August 7th. So if anybody's interested in becoming a vendor at the Winter Green Market opening this October 2024, we invite them to submit an application, and that closes on August 7th at 5 p.m. And then our next board meeting is August 29th at 4 p.m. at City Hall. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else before we go to Stephanie? I think you're on, Stephanie.
Okay, I just have a quick update from the DDA. I heard from Laura. They're busy in their budget planning for their next fiscal year, and their big focus this year is going to be in West Atlantic Avenue, which is great. They're also working with respect to House Bill 1365, which addresses sleeping in public places. So they're working with the Homeless Task Force and any surrounding downtown partners. So if you're interested in participating in that, definitely contact Laura Simon. And for the chamber, we're back at it again. Nonprofit Council is this Tuesday coming up at the chamber on August 6th. On August 8th, we've got Network Like a Pro, hosted by Kim Beckett, and that's free to our new members. On August 15th, we've got our Contacts and Cocktails at My Body Works, which is over in West Atlantic area. Summer Soiree is at 5 p.m. at Sklar Furnishings. That's a free event. It's a Focus on Women event, and there'll be tons of vendors there with lots of great things to purchase. YPAD will be at the Darry Beach Elks Lodge on the 28th. And of course, the education breakfast that Kay mentioned is August 29th. And we also have a grand opening on August 29th. So it's a busy month coming up already. Thank you so much for your time. I know we ran a little bit over today, but education is so important to our community. So thanks again to Erica Whitfield for joining us and for everyone else speaking on education. And I think that's it. So have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.